This 2022 BMW X7 is an ultra luxurious SUV with a third row seat, perfect for large families and perfect for road trips. BMW makes some excellent driver's cars and some excellent SUVs that are also good if you're an auto enthusiast, like the X3 and the X5. But this one, as you can see, is geared for the ultimate in practicality and space. The X7 is definitely the biggest when it comes to its SUVs, comparable to an Audi Q7 or the Lexus GX 460. But with its size, BMW does a great job of keeping this car manageable and controllable on the road. BMW lets you know of its size with this huge grille up front, but I'm just glad that it doesn't go all the way down like many others in the BMW lineup. Because this is the X7 with a ton of room in the back, you get nice captain's chairs, and I can imagine this being a really nice ride on a long road trip. These captain's chairs back here are not only comfortable, they also have adjustable armrests that can go all the way down, and the cushioning up here on the armrest is also adjustable. And then you also have nice big cup holders on the floorboard as well, along with your own air conditioning vents and controls. In most cars, SUVs included, you would not want to be in the back seat. You'd always want to pick shotgun. In this one though, because of all the space in the room and the fact that you can adjust the back seat, move it front or back, or you can adjust the reclining on this, this can be a very comfortable place to be. To get into the back, just pull up on this latch and watch the rest of it happen automatically. Here's what I mean. Watch how the front seat moves up by itself. That's pretty cool. Now you've got plenty of room to hop on back. In the back, it's best for kids, although as an adult, if you're on the smaller side, you could fit in without too much discomfort. You have fairly smallish cup holders back here and a place to charge your phone. You have buttons back here to put the seat back down if you want. Same thing on the other side too. Obviously the third row seats are tight, but really not that bad at all. I like how the tailgate is split into two and you have tons of buttons back here. One button to push down the tailgate and another one to lower the suspension if you want. Back here you have all these buttons to mess with all of the seats. That way you can fit the most amount of stuff you possibly can in this X7. I like this one, max suitcase space. Both seats are going down and these captain chair seats also move forward. And now you have lots of space. Then if you want to move the seats back up, pull on these buttons and the seats will come up. You also have a button to maximize people space. So the back seats go up, then the captain seats move back as well to give you maximum comfort. Looks like BMW's thought of everything. They've figured out how to configure these seats for maximizing suitcases, maximizing people space. All of this area back here can be configured to exactly how you need it to be. The other way to put the seats down is just to pull on these two buttons and just wait for a second. And everything just happens by itself, including the seats moving up. I love the fact that all the seats automatically adjust. All you have to do is push a button or flick a switch. You also have switches in the front to adjust the seats. The philosophy that BMW adopted with this X7 is to maximize flexibility and configurability. Even though the X7 is uber practical and everything about it is around that, it's still not a bad place to be when it comes to the driver. When you get inside, just think of this as an X5, but much bigger. You can see in the center console area how much wider it is. You have all of these columns of buttons. Definitely more space than what you see in an X5. Pretty big center console area with lots of storage. Not only do you have seat heating, you have armrest heating as well. The infotainment is very easy to operate. Lots of technology, and it's also a touchscreen too, which is nice. You can use the dial also if you want. I like how the climate control is designed for both the passenger and the driver with their own individual settings. You can also adjust the height of the X7. This is at the highest setting. This is when you lower it all the way. Nice integrated digital display all the way throughout. It's one thing to have a lot of technology in a car and another thing to make it very easily usable, and BMW has done exactly that with this. Also, zero complaints in terms of interior fit, finish, and quality. BMW is the best when it comes to that. You won't really see any imperfections when it comes to all of the panels and stitching and the fit. All of it is perfect. Panoramic sunroof that goes all the way back. Gives it a really nice and open feeling. As comfortable as this X7 is in the back seat, in the driver's seat, it's the same situation. It's extremely quiet with a really nice ride, super good insulation. The steering is a little loose and disconnected, so not what you might be used to in a typical BMW, but this is not really tuned for the driver. This is about maximizing passenger comfort, and in that way, the X7 is one of the most luxurious SUVs you can find on the market. And given how big the X7 is, it's not that hard to drive it. BMW has made this as good of a handling car as it could, given the size and proportions of the X7. So you get this big SUV with a third row seat that has all of the practicality that you could ever want. And on top of that, it's a pleasant big SUV to drive around. This X40i with the 6-cylinder engine is perfectly fine for daily driving, but if you did want more power, you have the M50 version. That's gonna give you way more power and make it a more exciting drive. But at the end of the day, the X7 is not built for any of those things, so I think the X40i is perfectly fine for most people. One thing you'll notice right away is how quiet it is. This is definitely more luxurious, more quiet than the X5, and you get the X7 because of the third row seat, because you can fit so much stuff in here. This would be the ideal road trip car. You can fit endless amounts of luggage. You can pack for a whole month, get away in this. Or if you have a huge family with 5 kids, you can fit everybody in this. What I think is quite nice about this is that even though this is big in size with massive proportions, the 335 horsepower engine is actually not that bad. It doesn't feel underpowered whatsoever. 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, which is quite mind-blowing considering how big this thing is. And with that 335 horsepower, you would expect this to be much slower. But I think with BMWs everywhere, it's always underrated in power. This has got to be closer to 400 horsepower, if not more, because you're never driving this wanting for more speed. It has plenty of power and it serves its job. The X7 is so quiet that sometimes you actually don't know how fast you're going. You could be going 80 miles an hour, but it feels like 50 because there's an effortlessness with this car. If you want an SUV that's sportier, definitely go with the X5. The X7 is really designed for space and practicality. There's just an extreme level of comfort. Passengers and drivers, every occupant in this X7 will definitely be very pleased with the comfort and quietness of this thing. It does have paddle shifters if you're so inclined to really push this thing, although I don't know why you would. If you need a big SUV, this one probably is at the top of the list, even compared to a Mercedes GLS or an Audi Q7. Because it's bigger and quieter, you feel more insulated, like you're sheltered, protected from the elements. So if you're the kind of person that wants to feel better in traffic, feel like they're more protected, then the X7 gives you that. For any BMW enthusiast that needs a lot of space and practicality, this X7 is a no-brainer purchase. But even for non-BMW fans, this X7 is worth a look just because it offers so much. By the time you're watching this video, this 2022 BMW X7 might still be up for sale at Covert Cadillac. They have a lot of used cars in inventory, so if you're in the market for this or something else, be sure to check them out.